I'm Arthur Moats, and I'm here to tell you about my new book, The Moats Theory of Life. If you haven't picked up a copy yet, I strongly encourage you to. This book not only is a fun read, but it's a guide to helping you become a person of impact and inspiration. If you are ready to take the next step to improving not only your life, but those around you as well, go get a copy of The Moats Theory of Life, and it's available at moatstheory.com. What's up? It's the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke. I'm Arthur Moats, and that's my main man, Deke.
What's up, dude?
Man, when we live in life, man, it was an eventful weekend, man. A very fun weekend, I might add. Yes, indeed, bro.
Fun. You had a lot going on.
I did.
You did have a lot going on.
Man,
and I didn't realize it really until
Father's Day, wedding anniversary was back to back, bro. It was wild. It was wild.
Good for you, dude. Congratulations.
Man, I appreciate it, man. 9 years in this thing, man, of the married life. So yeah, shout out to us. That was a lot of fun, man. And like I said, man, Father's Day is always an awesome experience, man. So shout out to all the dads out there, man. The ones that are present, man, doing their thing, holding it down, being impactful, whether you're biological or not, man. Hey, however you rock out, man, all the father figures out there, man. So major shout out to those guys, bro.
Good day to kick it and just relax and enjoy the day. So good for you, dude.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate it, man. Whew. Boy. It was some craziness going on with my NASCAR fam. Now, I'm new to the NASCAR game, baby. And this weekend, I mean, this was one of the big races. When they talk about the races that you got to see if you're new to NASCAR, they talk about the Daytona 500, but Talladega. I mean, everybody think about the movie Talladega Nights. Like, no. Literally, Talladega Super Speedway, bro. Like, it's real. The Geico 500, that was the race. But, dude, it gets, it's legit. I actually watched the race. I think it was Saturday. They had the Xfinity cars, which they're similar in terms of the build, but they're lighter and they won't have as much horsepower. So, for example, the guys on Sunday, like the Kevin Harvick's, all the big time guys, they're going up, 200 miles an hour. The Xfinity guys, they're around like 160, 70. Some of them get to the 80s and stuff like that. So it's just a little bit different.
Is it like minor leagues for baseball?
Yes.
Like,
yes, absolutely.
Golf, you have your nationwide tour, you have the PGA
tour. The
tour.
AAAs versus like the majors, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's that type of concept. And yesterday's track was a restrictor plate track because of, it's super long, bro. Yeah, I think it's a 2 mile. It's a 2 mile track. So like they can, on the straightaways, they pick up crazy speed, bro.
Now this might be too much, but what warrants someone going from the second tier to the first tier?
So
is it like you have to win? You have to win so many? Okay.
Yeah. So each race we talked about how much it costs, like for just one car, and you can't really use the cars multiple races because like the engine, the way it's built, and the materials they use, they can't really be recycling them. So to put it in context, the drivers on the Xfinity level, the races are shorter. So the cars do last longer, but those owners will probably have 4 to 6 cars tops. So some of the drivers, like Dale Jr., he has 3 cars. He has a team, but like I said, it's 3 cars that they use on that level. Whereas you talk about the sprint series, like the major guys, those owners that have 20 cars
on a team.
Yeah, just ready to go. So you just think about how much money it takes if one car is going to be, $80,000 to $100,000 for just that one race. You think about how much money it's going to cost to constantly have new cars, constantly have new drivers and stuff like that.
If the driver can bring in enough money to take care of the cars, that's basically it.
Yeah,
that's probably comes with winning.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. If you're winning, or you got to be highly competitive. That goes into why some of these owners say, you know what, I want that driver. But their contracts, I'm still trying to figure this out. Their contracts are still like year to year, though. It's not like in football where you see a guy sign a 4 or 5 year deal. Like this guy, like they renew him, but this guy could be racing in the 17 car, and then next year he's in the 88 car. You see what I mean? Like
that's
weird.
The max deals they'll do. It's just 1 year.
From my understanding, yeah. Like I said, I'm still trying to research it a lot more, but that was what I was getting out of it. So I was like, this is interesting.
No, that definitely is. I wonder if that's the rules or if that's just the best way to do it.
Yeah. It's different though, man. So I was like, okay, this is impressive because I was always trying to figure out the numbers. Like, well, why does this guy have this number car? And well, he used to race in the Tide car. Now he's in the Kellogg car. I'm like, oh, well, why did he switch? Did he get traded? Like, what's going on? And it's like, no, it's year to year. Like, if this guy isn't like producing like he's supposed to, or he's falling off or whatever it may be, like the owners could just say, you know what, I'm gonna go and try to get this guy instead. So I was like, man, that's pretty cool. It's like every year you're a free agent. You know, so I mean, it's a gift and a curse to that. Obviously, you're coming off a down year, it could hurt.
Yeah,
but that wasn't the big news this weekend. Unfortunately, there was some rather despicable news coming out of my NASCAR family, man. So obviously, the race was supposed to be Saturday, but it got rained out, so they had to postpone it till. I mean, it was supposed to be Sunday, but it got rained out. They postponed it and did it on Monday, and in Bubba Wallace's garage, where his car is located at, his crew found a noose on the car. This is crazy. A noose. This is we're in 2020. Yes, it's 2020. I had to make sure I was in the right year here. 2020. They found a noose on the man's car. I mean, that's just, to me, is utterly disgusting and just disrespectful because when we talk about what the noose symbolizes, we know there is no coming back from that. There is no, hey, would you forgive a guy? I would much rather you call me the N-word with the ER on the end of it then you put the noose on my car because that's a totally different message right there, man. And to just think that in the year 2020, we got people out with that type of energy, that type of mindset. And it's, I hate to say I'm not surprised by it, but it's always one of those things where you hear the people saying, hey man, racism is over, man. What are you talking about? That's not real. Or the NASCAR fans, remember when they got rid of it, because Bubba was huge in terms of getting the Confederate flag banned from the track. They tried to do it before in the past, but ultimately it never happened. But Bubba was really big and really at the forefront of getting this, Confederate flag removed, and rightfully so. And you would hear people say, well, man, racism, nah, it's just a flag, man. It's just a way of life, da-da-da-da. I'm like, all right, cool. But now you get this. So tell me how racism doesn't exist, or is this not considered racism? Maybe I'm missing something here. But where I'm from, in my history, if a noose is placed around an African-American, we know exactly what you're saying because we know the history of that. So for me, man, I thought that was just otherworldly, man, to just think that, oh, people are really on that right now because of what he stood for and what he was ultimately able to accomplish in getting the Confederate flag banned, which it should be.
Yeah, dude, it was disgusting. That's just an awful thing to do. And we've talked on the mic before, off the mic before. Dude, I'm like surprised myself at some of the stuff I've heard come out about things because I don't know. I just think I was raised right. I've been around good friends. I've been around good people all my life, and it's just such a shame that people do this type of stuff. It just really is. But I guess one of the things you can say is just good things you can say is just how NASCAR responded and all the drivers and just the brand in general. And we've been talking about this. It's just so funny how all this has happened. Like, who would have thought? I don't know, like a year ago that like NASCAR would be at sports. NASCAR would be at the forefront for like social justice issues and like really trying to push forward and make some change. So good for them. I mean, all the drivers, like it was just a cool scene with all the drivers, the pictures, the videos that were supporting Bubba throughout all this. So I think it just goes to show, like, yo, we're not standing for this type of. I want to say shit. I've sworn on it. Man,
I want to say, come on, listen. We done had Zach Bannon come on the show. We had Chevy. Chevy was, Chevy. He was talking. So without a doubt, bro, I think you'll be okay.
Without this, well, I've sworn many times before. I probably dropped F-bombs before.
You probably have.
I don't know. I was just trying to keep everything really nice there. But no, we're not standing for this type of shit anymore. So, I think it's just been a positive response from NASCAR throughout all this. So, kudos to that.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. Like you said, this is a long journey. We don't expect racism and injustice and all these other things to just disappear overnight because it didn't happen overnight. It's going to be a process. But the thing is, it's going to take solidarity. It's going to take everybody playing their part, playing their role in this conversation, in this movement. And like you said, to see NASCAR, we know NASCAR isn't the most diverse sport. Let's be real about it. I mean, we talk about Bubba. He's talked about so much right now because he's the only minority driver. So it's a big deal. But to see non-minorities sticking up for him, to see non-minorities pushing the conversation forward, to see non-minorities backing the idea of removing the Confederate flag and everything that's going on along that. It's to the point now that, like you said, people are so fed up with it that if you're not joining in terms of speaking up for the minorities and speaking up for the people that have been oppressed, then people are starting to look at you like you're crazy. Like when we saw people start to go on this, man, you're crazy, the Confederate flag, man, how you gonna ban that? They started looking crazy when people was like, bro, do you really understand what it stands for? And if you're willing to fight for that right now, like, what does that say about you? So for me, man, I was really happy to see that non-minorities are starting to feel that way. Non-minorities are starting to step up, because this is stuff that, I mean, as a minority, we've talked about and for numerous amount of years, different generations of it. And at the end of the day, it always falls on deaf ears because you didn't have the large support of the non-minorities, the people that didn't have the direct correlation of feeling with that. They haven't experienced some of the things. But to see them now, like I said, man, saying that, look, man, we're not standing for it. Like, it's unacceptable. It's not cool, and it's done. Like, I love it. I'm over here like, yeah, baby, keep it going. Keep it going.
Dude, whenever I've been down south, maybe 2 or 3 times in my lifetime for like vacation, Myrtle Beach or whatever, South Carolina, and I've seen people drive around with the Confederate flag. Dude, I was always shocked. I'm like, how is this even possible? Like, what is going on here?
They would have the Confederate flag more than the American flag, bro. Like,
I was so
no
shocked.
exaggeration.
I was like, how is this happening?
I mean, confession, I was just down in VA yesterday.
Yeah.
Saw a Confederate flag on the truck driving by, like, oh, we're still on this. Okay, cool. Just making sure I understood what the situation is.
Why not just an American flag? You know?
It's crazy, man.
Why can't it just be an American flag?
It's crazy. But on a lighter note, man, the race itself was awesome.
What?
The race itself was awesome.
Oh, the race.
It was awesome, bro. I just want to throw that out.
I missed it, dude. I mean, I know
you did.
You know I'm not watching these, but
dude, it was awesome.
I'll get your recap. What happened,
man?
here?
So first off, man,
I heard Bubba was actually in the lead for a little bit.
Man, when I tell you, Bubba, this is probably the best he's driven since I started watching. A lot of the people that I even like listen to, even Marty Smith, who was kind of like their Adam Schefter, like one of their big time reporters. He does all the broadcasting stuff for them in terms of pre-race, post-race shows, any of the insider stuff. I mean, even he was just talking about how awesome Bubba looked out there. Bubba was driving beautifully, man. I mean, he was sitting, usually when I watch him race, he's like 15 to 20 in that range. He was sitting top 5 like the majority of this race, dude. Like, he was looking good. The issue that happened with him, he started running out of gas, bro. So it was like, he literally ran out of gas, I think, with like 6 laps left. He got a caution, but one of the other drivers out there, and which is awesome too. I forgot. I think it was Logano, maybe Joey Logano, I want to say, but he kind of like pushed him into pit road because he had ran out of gas. So he like drives his car behind him.
Teammate or no?
No teammate.
Okay.
But yeah, just drives him into that thing. I was like, oh, that's crazy right now, bro. Like, seeing that, and that ultimately was able to help him stay on the lead lap with the caution, and he ended up finishing 14th. But man, you talk about just how crazy Talladega is, bro. It was too like, and I'm mad I didn't get the chance to see the big one. So they always say like the big one's like the big crash at Talladega because you're going so fast, but everybody is so close. I mean, they're riding bumper to bumper, like no exaggeration, bumper to bumper. So like in the Xfinity race, the last 15, 20 laps, it was like a 13 car pile up on that thing. Then yesterday, like I said, man, it was multiple like 2, 3, 4 car wrecks, man. So literally like the last 10 laps though, bro, it was literally a big wreck. All right, cool. You get down to the 6. That's where the wreck happened over it. And obviously Bubba was able to go ahead and get the gas and stay on the lead lap. But this would hurt me. My boy Kevin Harvick was in the lead. He was in the lead, baby. We had they call it overtime in NASCAR, green, white, checkered. All right. Green means all right, we going. White flag mean 1 lap left. Checker flag, all right, it's done. All right. So we talking about just OT. It's exciting right now. My guy's in the lead. He's rolling. We're good. He's got me. We're good. And we get down to the last lap, coming out the back corner of it. The guys get to making the moves, and it's a drifting track, so like you gotta stay, or a drafting track, so you gotta stay like on somebody's bumper or on somebody's line so you can keep the speed going. My guy slightly falls out. I'm like, all right, cool. So he's dropping back 5th, 6th, and then It's a massive crash within like the last 20 yards of the race. I'm talking to the point where the guy that got third place was facing backwards because he was crashing across the line, bro. Like literally his trunk crossed the line before some of the other guys. My guy ends up in 10th. It was electric though, bro. You see this crash and they're just sliding down the track, bro.
Damn.
It was insane, bro. Yeah. So for me, I was like, even though my guy went from first and ended up getting in 10th, I was like, bro, just to see that type of ending, bro, was epic. And shout out to the fact that, man, it was that was the second race where they allow fans. So
I was going to ask you about that.
1,000, but it was like friends and family. This one, they actually opened it up to fans. So there were 5,000 fans in attendance, and it was a really cool scene. After the race, Bubba Wallace goes over to the fans. They're giving them a ton of love, man. It was a good mixed crowd too, man. So it was just awesome to see fans back, you know, in an arena. First off, man, I thought that was just an awesome scene, man. But yeah, dude, that racing end was, yeah. Shout out to Ryan Blaney, man. He ended up getting lucky and winning it all, man. So I guess we'll give him a little shout out for that, man. But ultimately, dude, that finish, wow,
dude, your boy's still in first in the overall standings,
yeah,
though, right?
Harvick's still balling.
Be.
Yeah, Harvick's still balling, bro.
Yeah, this is hilarious, man.
Bro.
Just because you pick your guy, our first podcast,
man,
we start talking about NASCAR. You're like, you know what, Harvick's my guy. And he's been doing really good since.
Bro, I was just so mad because I literally, man, like it's 2 laps left, and I'm like, oh, we got this as a dub.
That would have been wild,
over.
huh?
Yeah, I was like, it's over. It's a win for me, man. We're good. And literally, he's winning going into the last lap. And I'm like, all right. I'm celebrating with my wife. My boy calls me. I'm like, bro, you jinxed me because literally we're winning. My guy's winning. My dog calls me. As soon as I hang up, everything happens. The crash is over. I'm like, thanks a lot, bro. When I see you, it's on site.
I don't know how extreme the feeling is, but I could see that being like Steelers versus Patriots. We're up against the Patriots,
man, hey.
And Steelers fans trying to act like it's already over. It's like, don't do that.
I was celebrating. I'm not gonna lie. I was celebrating. I told you I was watching some film on Deontay because we got a film session coming up after this.
Stay tuned. Yeah,
absolutely, man. Absolutely. So I'm watching the film, but I'm like, yo, I'm tuning into the game, and literally, I'm like, babe, I'm telling wife, like, yo, wifey, it's over. I'm about to click this tape, man. I ain't even tripping, man. I'm putting my finger up in the house. I'm celebrating. And it happens, I just want to cry. I was like, no, what is going on? It hurt.
I'm sure, dude. Are you starting to feel more like a fan with this?
Absolutely, man.
I mean, you do have other sports you're a fan of, but I don't know. It feels like you're more connected with this for some reason.
I am. It's weird. I don't know what it is. And I got a thing going
like even
on
talking NBA with you, I never really felt that. Although LeBron was in the finals last year. True. So
well, and this is the thing. Basketball is always my first love.
Yeah.
Basketball is my first love. Then it's football, but fighting, combat is a second. It's like a close third, you know what I mean, behind football. Because I mean, growing up, my mom would tell you, man, even my dad, both of them, like I wanted to play basketball. Then it was like, all right, I want to be a boxer. Like I remember watching Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, Sweet Pea Whitaker. They like, I wanted to box. It was like, nah, you're not doing that. So then it was like, all right, what's next? Football. All right, let's do it. You know what I mean? So it worked out. Obviously, it was a great decision, and I do love the game, but that was kind of like the pecking order. But now this NASCAR thing, because I'm like, dude, I like to drive. I like to drive fast. And then I just envision, I'm like, bro, me doing, I mean, not that I would do this on a regular street. If I were on a track, me driving 90 and what that feels like. And then I say, oh, these guys are driving 190, 200. This is crazy. And then see how close they are. I'm like, that's out of control. Yeah, so it's exciting, bro. I'm really enjoying it, man. I got me some. I put an order in for some Kevin Harvick stuff too, man. I was waiting on my gear to get in. I'm mad it's taking so long right now,
jacket?
Bro. No, I'm a hat guy right now. I went with the hat.
Okay, hat.
Yeah, because it's too hot for the jacket. You know I'm a sweater, bro. I get real hot, man.
Yeah, but you got that Steelers jacket that looks like a NASCAR jacket.
Yeah, the racer style. Yeah, man. But I'm just man. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta hurry up. But the problem is because of the COVID thing, the shipping between the COVID and then when the protest, everything was just getting wacky. So I'm just waiting, bro. I just need to hurry up though, man, because I just can't wait to come in here on the podcast with my hat, bro. I'm telling you now.
Just the hat? You got some shirts coming in too?
No, I just went with the hat.
Okay.
Bro. But I'm gonna go shopping again. Don't worry. Yeah. I mean, speaking of, you said, I mean, I got my boy I'm rocking right here, man. CJ Sapon, man, my JMU guy. He don't even play for Philly no more. He's in Chicago now. But it's cool because it's a throwback. My boy went to JV. We came out a year apart. He's been balling out. But also, the Philadelphia Union is the team that Kevin Durant's the minority owner of now, man. So I'm all connected, man. It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm just happy.
Soccer jerseys got some swag. They do.
It does, man. It's ventilated nicely. You know what I'm saying? Good color on it.
Yeah.
So it's all good, baby. It's all good.
You want to transition to some Steelers talk here?
Oh, now you want to get off my NASCAR because I was going to tell you. No,
I want to hear more.
I was going to tell you.
I just didn't know there was more.
I'm eyeing a race I'm about to go to in a little while too.
Oh, it's happening. So what? So how's the Hawaii thing working out?
So Hawaii's a no-go right now.
Okay.
But wifey still has plans for us to take a trip. So I didn't get that week free. I thought I was. I didn't get it free, which is cool because when I get back, first week of August 9th, it's a race in Michigan. I cannot wait.
Okay.
I'm being there. I'm there. It's a quick drive, like 4.5 hours. I'm there.
Yeah, Michigan's not too far.
Not at all. So I'm in there, bro. So I can't wait for that. I'm
August
looking
9th.
forward to it. Yeah, man. So trust me, you know when I'm there.
Okay.
And we're going to come back and I want to have a whole podcast just strictly NASCAR. Y'all going to be mad at me. I don't care. I'm going to give them NASCAR.
I'm willing to listen.
I'm going to give you the experience,
the
energy of it. You know what I mean?
You're going to have to shoot some vids or something. Too.
Oh, you know.
Keep us updated on your story. I know
I'm going to give it to you right, man.
Me and you, we're not the most, I guess, socially sharing people. Yeah, but like I feel like with your stories on the podcast and us talking about NASCAR, I feel like that would be something to share.
People want to see you, right?
I would want to see it. So
I'm gonna give more in that sense because you
could just take videos and bring them in later, and I'll clip them up.
Well, you know, a lot of times that's how I roll.
Yeah,
it's like, hey, record this real quick, or Bake, you get this real quick. We're gonna just save this, and I'll drop it later.
Yeah,
because I like to immerse myself in the situation I'm in.
Dude, you could shoot a little vlog or something if you want, like your whole journey going.
Oh, what? Trust me.
Like I said, I'll clip it up.
I know you the man with that. Hey, listen, you talk about a guy that cooks.
Nah, man.
Deke, you James Harden with this thing, man.
Nah, dude, I'm overrated.
Yeah. So I'm with you, man. Like, trust me, man. It's gonna happen though.
Okay.
So yeah, anybody that's out there in the Michigan area that knows anything about this stuff, man, just let me know, man. Hit the boy up because that's the one I'm trying to go to. Yes, sir. We're not trying to go to. That's the one I will be at. Unless I surprise myself and hit like Bristol or something, man. I haven't decided yet because that's one of the smaller tracks where they got the crashes like every corner. So I might hit that one too, just for the action. Haven't decided just yet.
Why not?
But either way,
more the merrier.
Yeah, either way, it's going down. Without a doubt, it's going down.
That's dope. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed, man. So now we could transition to some of the football. I don't even want to call it Steeler news because technically it's not the first part, isn't it? Right? I mean,
league news.
It's league news. I mean, he used to be a Steeler.
It's Steeler news to me.
he was a very, very good receiver for the Steelers. Had a lot of success here. Yeah, man. Had a very unique ending to it here. Yeah. But no, it's not AB for everybody that was thinking that. It's not. We're talking Martavis Bryant, man. My dog, Tay. Who doesn't love Tay? Every time I think of Tay, too, man, I think of the catch versus the Bengals, man. Between the legs. That's like my all-time favorite Tay moment. And then the next one is when he put Patrick Peterson on hamstring alert. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I love it. I love it. But my dog, Martavis Bryant, man, has officially applied to be reinstated to the NFL, which is huge, man, because you think about, you know, some of the things that played into his suspension and why he wasn't able to play. It was a lot associated with some of the rules that have been changed with the new CBA in terms of the marijuana, in terms of their drug policy overall. And when you just think about his situation, very similar to like what Josh Gordon was going through, just not as documented. I feel like with Josh, because the success that he had, the success that he had while playing is a lot bigger because he was viewed as a legit top 5 guy, top 10 guy when he was healthy, when he was right. Whereas with Tay was always on the come up to get to that, but never really fulfilled that potential or lived up to that. So with Tay though, man, saying that you're applying for the reinstatement, you have to assume that more than likely it will. I mean, come on, let's be real. You know he's gonna get reinstated. Mr. Goodell don't play those type of games.
Dude, he definitely should. Yeah.
But you know, it got me thinking. So, you know, I like to go check the Twitter Nation. I like to go check the IG Nation. I like to go check Steeler Nation and see, put the thumb on the post, what they talking about. And people were starting to talk about, would you welcome Martavis Bryant back? I mean, do you want to go first? I mean, because I know how you feel about Tay. I could go right now if you want me to, man. It's kind of like, you know what I mean?
I'll just say something real quick, then you can go.
Go ahead, knock that out.
Hell yes.
Thank you. I mean, come on, it's Tay, baby. It's Tay. We know what Tay is, man. We know what Tay is.
And I think, I'll let you go, but I think for whatever reason, we've talked about this before, I feel for whatever reason, this time it even makes more sense.
Talk about it.
When we talked about it in the past. But I'll let you go.
No. I like where you go.
Nah, man.
Come on, man. You got the juice, man.
All right.
You got the no-leg on. You look clean in here, man. You got the Pumas on. Shout out to Ralph with the Puma tail. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. I love it. And you covered up the taco meat.
I did.
You ain't want to go sex symbol today. It's cool. You usually come in here with only 2 buttons out of a 10-button shirt. I'm like, bro, what type of video you shooting in here, man?
I'm eyeing up some shirts that keep on popping up on my Instagram feed.
Big brother's watching you. That's why.
Well, no, I know, and it's cool. And it's cool because I understand that they're targeting all these products at me, and they're those button-down shirts. It's like that one pink one I have, and I've been wanting to get a bunch of them for this summer. Just really haven't gotten around to it. The malls are closed and all this stuff. You know, I'm anti-mask, and it's hard for me to navigate this, the getting new clothes. So I'm getting targeted like no other on my Instagram with these shirts. Because I guess I looked at them initially. I'm like,
so you don't have a problem with them watching you though, but you don't want to wear a mask. I have a bigger issue with them when I talk about something. I search something one time and I see it on my feed every day after that. I have a bigger issue with that.
I don't think that's government though. That's
I don't like
marketing. That's business.
How did they get there?
If you were running a business, you would do the same thing. Though.
It makes sense from a business standpoint. Yeah. Doesn't the government, what they do, make sense for them? Sure, but for me, I don't like it. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to be watched.
I don't
like
necessarily
Big Brother.
like it either, but for whatever reason, like in general, but for every reason, I'm really liking these shirts. So I guess it's, hey, you're giving me what I want, like deep down. So I appreciate that.
I don't mind this. Go for it.
So I got to buy some of these shirts here at some point, and then I'll be showing some more taco meat if that's what you're getting at. Man.
Yeah, 'cause the people like taco meat Deke. They want taco meat, super slouch, laid back Deke.
Okay.
You got to give them that right here, man. You look like you're either about to go like play video games. I think like if my phone broke, I would take it to you the way you look right now,
really?
or like you about to install like a security system or do some like cyber hacking. Like that's the vibe I'm getting right now from you, man. I really like it though.
Okay.
I'm glad you're on my team. That's all I'm saying, man.
I'm good with certain technology things. I'm not that educated with that type of stuff.
You like, oh man, you cracked the screen, but you know it's a little bit. You're good. The hard drive is just fine. I got you. Come back in like an hour.
Well, you've seen some of my old phones. Remember I showed you pictures?
Yeah. Crazy.
All of my phones up to this one have been just destroyed, like the screen destroyed. But
but you would still use them.
I was still using them.
Yes.
My point was with doing that, we're getting way off track. I'm sorry, but my point in doing that was still using the iPhones with cracked screens. Is that I never got to worry about people wanting that phone.
You're right.
It's kind of like the more money, more problems thing.
You're right.
A nice phone, I always got to be looking out for it. But
you're right.
A phone with a screen crack like no other.
Screen? Nah.
No, who wants that?
Yeah.
Who's gonna?
I don't even want to use that phone. Like,
So it was a weird theory. It kind of worked, but at the same time, I do like having a phone with not a cracked screen. So
probably a lot safer for your hands.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I could feel sometimes my thumb, like it wouldn't hurt, but I could definitely feel like little crystal pieces or whatever the phone's made of.
Absolutely, man.
Getting into my thumb. But with Martavis, it makes more sense this time around just because with the coronavirus situation and the uncertainty. So if he's to come back for the Steelers, it makes sense just because there is some familiarity there with Martavis and the Steelers, whereas you have Chase and Martavis with the Steelers and Martavis and Big Ben.
Yes, indeed.
Let's not forget about that. You have Chase Claypool coming in. He's a rookie. Tomlin has already talked about how some of these rookies might be behind the 8 ball for this season. You have James Washington. You have Juju. You have Deontay, who has been in the system, but with Big Ben, you're thinking that's going to be a connection.
Right, absolutely.
But if you want a sure thing, somewhat, Martavis and Ben have been there together, and magic has been made before.
Oh, it's been beautiful.
It's been amazing. And we know Martavis is a top 5 talent. He just is. If he can get everything right, he could be an elite receiver. So I see it as a low risk for the Steelers. If, he's trying to get back in the NFL, he's serious about it, then, you could sign a vet minimum contract, a year or two, and he's going to try to ball out. Now, I think it makes, now you could say, why would Martavis want to come back to the Steelers? Because we've had this conversation before where, all right, he's not going to be the number 1 or number 2 guy it's going to be tough for him to acclimate with the new team like that. But I think it makes sense from the standpoint with the coronavirus thing, where he's going to be familiar with the Steelers system, where if he signs with any other team, what's that going to look like where he's sitting at home and doing these Zoom meetings and all this type of stuff? He's not going to be able to get as acclimated as he would just signing with the Steelers. He's already familiar. So I think it makes sense both sides. I don't think it's that far out there where, hey man, you get a top 5 talent in here, like low risk, high reward, in my opinion. I think it could definitely work out. So what?
I love that, man. You brought up an awesome point with the coronavirus, because you're right. From an off-season standpoint, if he goes anywhere else, I mean, even now, you think about how much he's missed through the virtual OTAs. So just the meetings that he would have been sitting in, he doesn't even get that opportunity. So now you're trying to teach yourself this stuff and then go into whatever the training camp situation might be, or maybe, and then try to just hop on a move and train in that regard. Whereas in Pittsburgh, he knows the offense. He knows Ben. He's been here. Ben knows him. The rapport is there. And it's funny, you talked about him not being the number one, but we both said that who's the true number one right now as it sits today? Some people will say Juju based off what he's done in the past.
We're banking on it.
Right. And I think that's something that we've all agreed upon, that we're banking on Juju bouncing back, looking more like year 1 and 2 than year 3. But people will still debate, and I know for me, I'm extremely high. Both of us, we're high on Deontay Johnson. We think that he's ready to take that next step. You're right. He hasn't played with Ben, so that chemistry isn't there just yet. We're hoping that it doesn't take long for them to acclimate to each other, but that hasn't happened yet. And with Chase, we don't know with Chase yet, because, I mean, he's a rookie. And Coach Tomlin, like you said, he talked about these guys have missed over 900 snaps because of the no OTA practices. So when you factor in that, I mean, you have to assume this dude is going to be behind the 8 ball. It's going to take him some time to develop and get up to speed in the offense, and then get up to speed in terms of competing against some of these defenders. So a lot of that plays into it. Whereas with Tay, the familiarity is there. He understands what his body needs to be like for an NFL season. And you just talk about adding another weapon. Come on, bro. We don't have to project. We hope that Chase Claypool can grow into what a Martavis grew into, but we know what Tay is. Like, come on, baby. I'm excited. If he does get a reinstatement, which he should, I agree with you, man. It's a low risk.
Like, what other team? I know with AB, there's teams, the Ravens, Seahawks. Yeah. Like, those are the 2 teams.
Ravens and Seahawks are big for them.
What team for Martavis Bryant would he feel like if he signed, he would get a nice opportunity there? I feel like he would get a really nice opportunity here with Pittsburgh.
I agree. I think the biggest thing when you talk about Tay in Pittsburgh is more so just going to be how does he come back and mesh with the Juju? Remember how that whole ending was where he was saying, I mean, let's be real about it. It started on the draft night, man. That guy, he here for you, Sammy. Actually, buddy. So that's gonna be interesting to see how that dynamic works out. Then also just the humility element of it. Is he coming back with the mindset, the mentality that, hey, I'm Tay. When I was here, I was the guy next to AB. Like they were saying, I mean, it was times in practice where we definitely had the conversation of, man, we know he could be better than that. Like that's legit. So when you factor in all those things and say, okay, how is the team open to dealing with that? Is he open to that situation, or is the team going to view him as a distraction? What does Ben feel about it? I think it's a lot of variables in there that play into that. And then also, I mean, you talk about bringing him in. That means somebody got to go. I ain't going there. I ain't. Because I'm just
6 receivers. We keep 6 receivers.
I mean, somebody got to play special teams, right? From what I saw, they were just saying that Deontay can play outside or inside. Juju could play inside or outside, but you want him in the inside.
Martavis outside. What do you? So we're saying Martavis, Juju, James Washington, Deontay, Claypool. Hey man, like
I'm not going there.
You know where I stand with that.
I'm not going there, bro. I don't do that.
You know where I stand from a strictly playing standpoint and on the field production. Yeah, that 6th spot should probably be vacant. But if dude, whatever Ben wants, I'm loyal to Ben, so whatever makes him feel good.
It wasn't we want him. Listen, I'm not playing that game, man, because I ain't got nothing but love, respect. All right, I don't play the hey man, get him out of here game and all that stuff because
I'm not either. I'm saying he's good.
In the right situation, he could be impactful, man. That's all I'm saying, man. So,
but if we're talking bringing in Martavis,
that's different.
Come on, Martavis is.
I mean, Tay, when awesome. when healthy, when in the right space, Tay can run with he's with the best of them, man.
Dude, another point. I mean, we were talking about just the lack of connection with the receivers and Ben potentially. Mm-hmm. James Washington, even. I mean, he's only played with Ben in limited time his rookie year. I don't know how many yards he ended up having, but he had the 700 yards last year with Mason and Duck. Yes. Not really Ben. So that's another thing where. Man, Martavis might have the most rapport with Ben. I mean, obviously Juju, but...
Well, this is my thing with that, though. At least the difference with James, Washington, and Deontay, James has had 2 full off seasons with him. We talked about the OTA last year where, I mean, I was out there. James was tearing it up. Like, he looked awesome. His rapport with Ben looked great. And then, obviously, it never got a chance to materialize in anything because of Ben going down when he went down. So I think that does play into it. But I mean, that's still 2 off seasons compared to Tay's, 4. And then, it's not the same.
Yeah, maybe it's a stretch.
Or technically, would it be 3 for Tay? Because he had that 1 year where he was suspended.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And it might be a stretch there, but I'm just thinking we've seen Ben and Martavis in game ball out. So like you can have a lot of rapport in the preseason, in training camp and all that type of stuff. But when it comes down to it, who's Ben going to trust when the lights are on?
Without a doubt.
So Martavis, they've had some chemistry there.
I would love it.
It would be so cool.
And I think it'll be a cool, man. I think it'll be a cool just ending for Tay. Like he comes back after everything. I mean, where he started out setting it on fire, things ended kind of rough, takes the West Coast trip, hits Oakland. All right, it doesn't work out. For some reason, still a receivers in the Raiders, it doesn't play out that well. I can't call it. Okay, cool. All right, cool. Note to self, I got you. If you want to go West, go to AZ. If you don't, then just stay on the East Coast. I got you. That's cool. Okay. All right, cool. But have him come back to Pittsburgh, man. Get this thing rolling. Get number 7 with number 7, and then we all on our merry way. We good. For me, that's how I look at it, man. Because you're not going to tell me,
love it,
dude. We already were talking about our receiving course, and we had the debate a couple podcasts ago about our receiving corps versus the Bengals, versus the Ravens, versus the Browns, which was like, I mean, it was a fun debate. I even got on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter. I got on IG a little bit. And we got some conversation. I did. Every once in a while, I hop on, man. Every once in a while. So, because a lot of people were saying that the Browns should have been 2. Should have been Bengals 1, Browns 2. And then I saw people saying it should be Browns 1, Bengals 2, Steelers 3. There was consensus Steelers 3. I even had a couple people say Raiders. I was like, but you're crazy. I almost unfollowed you for that or blocked you off the page. Like,
I think they were probably just thinking winning the AFC North, maybe.
Yeah, they
some people don't read.
Yeah. Or some people don't realize, like, and the thing was, too, when you make the post, they just looked at it as, all right, who is their best receiver? Odell, Jarvis. Mm-hmm. Who's our best receivers? Versus the debate we had was best receiving group, receiving core.
I think I tried to make that clear, right? Didn't I say like clear. Wide receiver team rankings?
A lot of people got it, but it was still a good amount that were not catching that. Like, bro, you're not going to tell me 2 guys in a rest of bums are better than these 6 quality guys or these 4 quality guys. Like, nah, I'm not hearing that. Like, and I think that was some of the disconnect there, man. But yeah, you add Tate to that mix.
Number 1.
Yeah.
You switching up your rankings a little bit.
Well, I mean, because now you got to look when you because I said Cincinnati over Pittsburgh. Yeah. And mainly it was because outside of once you talk AJ, once we went down the depth of the Bengals receivers, they were a lot deeper than we are right now in terms of proven talent. Now, I think we have more potential, but we're not great enough of potential. And that's the thing. We were like, I mean, you can project what you want to project for Chase, but whatever you project for Chase, you got to project more for T because T was drafted higher than him. If we're going off of just that, and I thought that when we factor in all those, that's why I said Cincinnati. But if you add in a Tay, that's a whole nother element. It's a whole nother element.
You think he could do it if he came back?
I mean, knowing Tay is one of the dudes. Like you talk about guys who's going to work hard. He works hard. Tay's biggest issue was the marijuana. Let's be real about it.
Yeah.
It wasn't. When did we ever say Tay's out of shape? When did we ever say Tay can't stay healthy? When did we ever say Tay can't do this? Tay can't do like that wasn't the issue with Tay. We said with Tay was, the narcotics, and at the time we all were just kind of feeling the same way in terms of it's crazy that you get suspended for this, but not for some of the other things that were going on.
Oh yeah.
But that was the rule at the time. But now that rule has changed, yeah, it's a no-brainer to me, bro. It's like if we're asking, hey, would you take AB back? If AB's mentally good and AB's not doing all the other stuff, come on, man, you know the talent that he has. Problem is the other stuff. You just, you have to factor that in. Tay didn't have it. Tay just had, little marijuana. Right. That's cool, man.
And maybe some of the uncertainty that you did mention before, I think it would be as simple as a conversation.
Definitely would.
That
Definitely
just
would.
Like Martavis and hashes it out with, Ben or the team, the organization, whatever. Just, all right, this is where I'm at right now, and this is what I want to do going forward. I think it'd be as simple as that.
And I will say this, man, being that I was a teammate of Tay's for a couple of years here in Pittsburgh, especially during the glory years, man, Tay's temperament, he
seems chill.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, even if he has that issue, which there were some disagreements or differences in philosophies, he's still gonna come in and do his job. He's still gonna come in and put forth great effort. He's gonna show up on time. He's not gonna be the disruptive type. We talked about how with some players that if there was a disagreement, they were a little more vocal in how they expressed their dislike or disdain for a situation. Martavis that's not his temperament, man. Martavis, he'll complain about it out the facility. He'll complain about it with the guys, but he's never going to let it jeopardize his performance, his preparation and things like that, which you always got to respect because that's not easy to do. You talk about just at your workplace. It's hard where people you don't like sometimes, man. Or people you got disagreement with. It's hard. I feel like in football, man, you get stuck with some people. You're like, all right, common goal here, common goal. That's what you got to focus on. But with Tay, like I always thought he did a good job in that regard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Prayer hands up. Let's hope it happens.
Yeah, man. So I'm with it, bro. But it was also it was a little bit more still in news too, man. Obviously,
just dropped today.
Yeah, man. Coach Tomlin, he had went on and he was doing an interview, virtual interview. Shout out to Zoom again. I know you hate Zoom, but shout out to Zoom. He was talking with reporters, and he was first off, he named two out of the 3 starters, man. He said coming into this season that Tyson Alualu is going to be the starting nose guard. He'll get the first crack at it. Matt Filo will be starting at left guard.
Which I'm a little surprised by that. I guess not really because we talked about it, but if I didn't have any of these conversations with you, I'd be like, whoa, this is coming out of left field here.
Because he started at right tackle 15 games last year. He moved to left guard only for the Rams game. And then he said that Banner and Chooks will compete for the right tackle spot. Now, I said those names, Banner first, Chooks second, because that's how Coach Tomlin said it. Because in my mind,
that's alphabetical order too.
Well, my thing is this: I said, well, first off, bro, somebody got to go out there first, competition or not. So I want to know who you have going out there first. Are you going alphabetical order? Let me know. I don't want to be giving out bad information. So I worded it the exact way he said it: Banner and Chooks.
I think Banner's won everyone's hearts with.
Banner's awesome.
With just who he is, his personality. I think people are rooting for him naturally.
He came on the podcast too. But see, I like them both. I got relationships with both of them, man. So I'm always torn, like in these type of situations here, man.
At the end of the day, whoever helps us win, I think.
Without a
Banner
doubt.
Being there just helps media coverage. Just
it makes it so
interesting and all that type of stuff. But whoever helps us win at the end of the day is what it's about, and he would agree with that.
Yeah. So, and put it like this, Banner came on the show, so I'm going to be a little more loyal to Banner. Me and Chooks then got into it playing, doing our youth football camps, our youth football teams, flag football, that thing, 7-on-7. We done had our disagreements a couple of times. Sorry. It gets heated out there.
Were you quarterback?
We always are quarterbacks. Got to be.
How's like your attributes?
Listen,
so you got a fade ball?
Listen. I've been doing
clutch factor, it factor.
I've been doing these. We've been doing the Steeler youth camps. I've been a part of 7 years now, 6-7 years now. I've only lost once. And that's because Charlie Batch cheated. And then I came back and spanked him the next year. And he wanted to fight me after. He did not talk to me for like a month or two afterwards.
I remember you telling this story.
Absolutely.
So you got the it factor.
Yeah,
that's
we
what
don't
I like
play.
to hear.
We going deep. We'll move the ball. We got strategy, clutch. Not worried. And and I'm the only one that actually organizes the defense out there. Everybody else just wants to throw the ball, play offense. I'm out there. It was plenty of times where we were legit running on defense. Well, we ran in the game sometimes, like hand signals calls everywhere.
Oh, wow.
It was crazy. and we were frying people. In fact, Tyson, shout out to Tyson. His son has played on my team before, and we demolished people. Yes, sir. Yes.
So yeah, I guess are we both just leaning Banner just based off name recognition and all that type of stuff?
But the thing is this though, man, when you watch the tape, obviously Chooks, Chooks was the higher draft pick of the two, and Chooks he has more familiarity in the scheme. But I think if Banner, and the biggest thing with Banner was the weight element, right? And obviously he wasn't drafted here. He talked about that a little bit when he came on as a guest. With Banner, that was it.
Well, he was saying, I think he was supposed to be a first round pick.
Right. He was supposed to be a first round pick. He was just overweight, like a lot overweight. So for him, man, as long as and you saw the picture he just posted, I think it was today or yesterday, like he looks good. He's been working his tail off, which is a huge testament to him. He talked about some of the nutrition and stuff like that on the podcast. If he's in the right weight, bro, he can move with the best of them. He's like an athletic freak. And just a massive man in general, just talking about the size. And the thing that I love about him is like his passion. He wants to be great. He wants to come out here and dominate people. So I think with him in that regard, like I'm excited for him. Whereas I know with Chooks, man, Chooks can ball. Chooks is another guy who's hungry, wants to be the guy as well. So that's why I think it's going to be a healthy competition. But at the end, I don't think it's going to be a loser in this situation because either one of them that wins it out is going to be huge.
Both going to be on the roster.
Right, but the next guy is going to be how Banner was last year in terms of being the sixth guy. Or the swing tackle / extra O-lineman, which we use a lot.
Did we only start using that last year?
No, we've done it before. And this is the thing that's funny.
It felt like last year just because of the eligible thing.
Yeah, but this is the thing that's funny. Chris Hubbard, who got the $30 million deal to go to Cleveland, started out as a 6-man extra O-lineman tackle. We would call it the Georgia Extra, and we'd always laugh like, "Oh, Hub, all right, I see you in there." And then from there, let's see, Kelvin Beachum, who's made tons of money. He started with Jacksonville, and now he's with the Jets as well. He was extra lineman as well, same type of dude. So when you go down the list of the guys, you're like, okay, like, that's a legit spot. Like it's not like in some offenses where only the 5 are going to be out there and they have like legit tight ends that they use. No, in Pittsburgh, they're good, man. They're going to put out their old lineman.
Am I just off that we were using this more last year as opposed to other years?
No, it was just more talked about last year because the whole banner thing. Think about it, if they never would have started saying number 72 is eligible.
Did they just start saying that this year?
No. They've made that rule when New England beat the Colts.
It was the Ravens.
Yeah, you're right. The year before the Ravens, because they were switching the personnel and you wouldn't know who's eligible. So like setting your defense, they were throwing you off. And not knowing who's eligible changes everything from a coverage standpoint.
He always finds the loopholes, man.
Oh, yeah. There were dudes covering guys that were like, oh, he's technically a tight end by body, but he's not eligible because of where he's aligned at.
So wasting your coverage.
Yeah, where the guy that's wide open is over here, but because he's aligned there, you're thinking like, oh, no, that's the offensive lineman. He can't be eligible. And yeah, they were just killing him with the rule. So that's why they made it where you have to announce it. But I think with Banner's personality and everything that went along with the media coverage, and you got to think this year, it wasn't a lot to talk about on offense, was it? A lot of that plays into it.
That was the highlight. Yeah, because 72 is eligible.
Think about this. In the past, when I talked about Chris, when I talked about Kelvin Beachum, who were the receivers then? You talk about having AB. You talk about having Martavis. You talk about a Juju. You talk about a Marcus Wheaton. We can go down the list of all these receivers that were here.
It was probably like, I don't care about that. I don't care about
that. No.
Just let me know when we're going to score.
Whereas last year, it was like, we need something to cheer for on offense, baby. Oh, all right, 72 is up. I'll drink to that. Like, let's be real.
That's what was going on, man. It was that Dolphins game.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's my thing. I'm like, bro, they've been doing that. The Steelers have. Like I said, before I came here, and then once I was here, and then they're still doing it after I left. And those guys, they go on to have very successful careers, make a ton of money. So it's nothing new. It's just, like I said, this year, man, when you lose your franchise quarterback, it gets rough sometimes, man. Okay? It gets rough.
It was rough.
So you started trying to find different storylines, different narratives, because we tried to go with the Mason one, and it didn't pan out at that time. So then what was the next one? The Duck one. And then that didn't pan out all the way. So then it went back to, okay, this and that. It was just a whole bunch of fishing for stuff. Whereas in the past, when have we ever had to talk about that? In the past, it's simple. Ben, AB, Hines, Tonio, Plax, like you just go down. It was clear cut. That guy. Oh, and this the running back right here. Like, we're good.
It was simple as every year we should be in the playoffs. We should be competing for a Super Bowl no matter what. I didn't even care who was out there at any time. I didn't care if the defense was down, if maybe we lost an offensive weapon here or there. It was always playoffs or Super Bowl. If you have 7 back there, that's the expectations.
So that all that played into this year, man, in terms of why Banner,
it was a disaster.
Like blew up the way it did, man.
My mentality. I mean, you could hear our podcast and us going back. Like I would have one take the one week and just completely flip the next week. Could we do this? Could we do that? Is there hope here?
Yeah.
And the next week, I'm just like, all right, the season's over. That's how it felt. It was just awful. But like anytime we went through those losing streaks with Ben. Like I remember the one year, I think we were like 4-5 in midseason. It was after the loss to the Cowboys when Zeke,
I was a part of that.
Zeke went off. I was still like, I still have hope for the season. I really don't care. If we have 7,
and we still.
You did. You went off.
We lost to Denver. We lost to Denver in the division round.
It was like 7 or 8 games in a row. I think we ended up winning the division. I'm not completely sure, but we definitely made the playoffs. And
no, that's the year since we won. We won 3. We won the first year. That would have been my second year. We lost that, and then we won the last 2.
Okay. Yeah, but you just always feel, no matter what our record is, we've been 2-6 before, and then came back and have been 8-8 in the playoff hunt. I always feel like there's hope whenever we have been. Last year, it was just so back and forth, and it was tough, dude.
Last year was a reality. That was like, this was like to be a fan of other teams. Yeah.
Yeah. So with the nose tackle, then with Tyson, that's just veteran guy, right?
Absolutely. And we talked about last year too with Tyson, man. We saw them use him in various ways along that D line, man. He's a former first round talent, man. A part of that amazing 2010 draft class. Yes, I might know a guy. But man, so with that, man, he's very productive, and his play spoke volumes last year. I think he's definitely earned that. And when you're looking at that D line next year, you're talking about
Tuitt coming back,
bro. Just think about 4 of those 5 guys are first rounders, and then you got Tuitt who's your second rounder. That's crazy. So you have TJ, Bud, Cam, Tuitt, and Tyson out there.
Not to give too much away for the I guess this isn't giving anything away. I guess it's just a perspective, but you're obviously going to be breaking down the Deontay Johnson like his plays from last year and everything. I think maybe some of the stuff you'll talk about, I think it just goes to show you how good our defense was last year with how other teams were I guess playing against our offense and just how good our offense was and moving the ball. Like it just wasn't up to par to what we're typically used to. That's just how good our defense was. So that's high praise.
Dude.
And our defense is young. Like you have the guys that are older, they're in their prime though still. But then you have the younger guys, they're ascending. So we're at a nice point with our defense right now.
Like these next 2 to 3 years is like a window where you could just see greatness. Like, that's what this defense has.
Like, probably our first Super Bowl run where it was 05 to 08. Like, yes, that was that core right there.
Absolutely.
Can Ben get 2 here? I think it's the 4 Super Bowls. I could see it, dude.
4 Super Bowls.
I need that. I need that, dude.
4 Super Bowls, then, now that, I mean...
I need that. I just need it.
I know this is
you know how bad I need that.
I know for you, yes, you definitely needed to justify a lot of the things you've said in your lifetime. But I will say this, man, because this is something that has been debated. I'm not about to do this with you right now. No, we're not doing that. But 4 Super Bowls, they might. I mean, it could become a consensus that he is the greatest Steeler quarterback all the time. Don't make that face because
that's already the case. But
all right, it's a lot of people that still go Bradshaw. That's all I'm saying. Outside here, I'm just throwing out there.
I know, and they're wrong, but that's cool.
All right, I said we ain't about to do that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
No, we don't have to. Yeah, but I'm just saying. They're wrong right now, but if that's what it takes, shame on them.
Right now,
they're already wrong. But whatever. I need that for national. That's what I need it for.
Yeah. Because I'm just saying that is, it's a good amount of people that still say Bradshaw. Just don't shoot the messenger. I'm just reporting the news.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm not I guess disagreeing with you. I'm more disagreeing with them.
Okay.
I'm not.
All right. Respect.
I'm not knocking you for sharing the news. Yeah, you're just the guy sharing the news.
I'm just the guy sharing the news.
But I'm pointing to the people that are giving you that news and saying they're wrong.
Let them know. Talk to them, man.
I already did, so I'm good. I'm good now. But the 4 for me, that would be huge. That would just be huge because I will feel
MVPs in that.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
next year's MVP.
Okay.
MVP in Super Bowl next year. Maybe in 2 years, then that could be like the last one. Maybe like he has a really good regular season.
Manning one?
No, not like that. No, not like that. Maybe in Elway. Maybe kind of like that.
All right, fair enough.
Because you look at Elway's last 2 years, statistically, they were really good still. Yeah. They were really good. So I could see that.
Shout out to Terrell Davis.
That was a Super Bowl run, but for the regular season, he was really good.
Yeah, it was tight. It was the uniform. You change the uniforms, man, you get nice.
Yeah, that's what happened, right?
Tell you, bro. You change the uniform, you change everything.
We can't change the Steelers uniforms.
It's classic.
You can give us the block numbers back.
That's not. I don't really look at that as changing the numbers.
It's not. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's the most you could do, in my opinion.
Yeah. You should make the color rest the primary. What?
No.
I'm just saying.
I've seen some pictures of people putting out with the white jerseys, the white pants, because we used to do that back in like the serious? 60s. Yeah, they look kind of clean, dude. Have you seen them at all?
I think I saw one with Juju.
They have ones with the yellow jersey with the yellow pants. I do kind of like it. The way they edit them look kind of fire. Yeah. But I don't know if that's too far.
For me, man, I was always a fan of like the different color schemes. I think because in Buffalo, like we would do the different jerseys. Mm-hmm. We would have the throwback. Then we would go with the all blue. Then they started doing the all red. Then we did the white on white, the blue on white, the white on blue.
They've changed their jerseys probably every decade or so.
Yeah, easily.
Maybe even less than that.
And then changed the helmets too. Like we started out with the red helmet, then we went to the white helmet. Then they went with the white with the throwback logo, then the white with the different logo. Then it was, all right, this style jersey with this colorway. Now we're going to go to that. Like, so, yeah. It's fun though, man.
Yeah, because you had the fluty. You had like the
I had
fluty
the OG.
blue.
I got the OG like fluty blue red helmet, like the classic look. Thurman Thomas and all those guys. That was my first year. Then we switched to a different, more of like a royal blue my second year, and we would bring with like the stripes on the pants. Then from there we switched again, going into my either third or fourth year. We changed our collar, like 'cause we had like a little white collar, and then we went all blue. But then we would do, like I said, the blue on white, the white on white, the white on blue. Yeah, it was nuts, bro. And then I missed out on the all red. When I came here the year when they went all red.
You liked us.
Bro.
I didn't like this.
I love it. I love it. What? The all red, then the white on the red, and red on the white. God. Fire. Then they changed the face mask color. I'll go with the white helmet with this color face mask. Like I'm a fan of the white helmet with the blue face mask personally. That's for another debate, man. I'm getting bills on y'all right now, man.
That's fine, man. You're part of that community still.
I just love the colorway, the colors.
You've had a good career. I mean, those two teams, those are, top 10, 5 fan bases. And like to be ingrained in those communities, that's awesome for you.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. But the Steelers is better, so
let's go, Deke.
So we're glad you're putting us in the top spot.
Let's go, Deke.
Talking Steelers as opposed to Bills, and making your home here and everything. So
let's go, Deke. Talk to him. Y'all thought Deke was gonna let that slide? Not a chance, bro. Not a chance.
Yeah.
So, but we did have one other last thing, man. That Coach Tomlin did say. He did say. What type of English am I speaking, fellas and ladies? We did have one other piece of news that Coach Tomlin did reveal that with the whole COVID-19 situation, 2 people did test positive. He didn't say if they were players, organization, whatever. He did say that they tested for it in the spring, and now they're back in the building and good. So my assumption, if they're back in the building, I don't know. That's what threw me off when he said they're back in the building, because technically everything is virtual off season right now. So yeah. Take that for what you want to take it as. But the positive thing is the person's alive. Those 2 people are alive and they're good. They're healthy. So, hey, take that for you want to take it.
Yeah, that's good with me too. I mean, it's good to hear that.
Especially with all
they're
these
good
other
now.
People tested positive right now, bro.
I don't want. Come on, dude.
I should ask you again. NBA, no NBA?
NBA is going to go.
They're still going to go? Okay.
I think MLB just said they're going.
No.
Right? 60 games.
No. The commissioner said that now that the MLBPA gets a chance to respond, because prior to that, the MLBPA wanted, I think, 80 or 70 games, whereas the owners didn't. So then they both were like, well, all right, this is not going to happen. So then they left it up to the commissioner. So now the commissioner says 60. And now they have until a day or two to respond to that. In the NBA, they have until Wednesday to determine if they're going to play or not. We saw Boogie Cousins said he's not playing. Players. Yeah. Boogie Cousins said he's not playing. Lou Will said he's 50-50 right now.
Trevor Ariza. He said he's not playing. He said he wants to be with his son, right? The dude on the Wizards, he's looking for his next contract. So
yeah, I did see that. He was like, yo, I'm worried about my contract and being healthy going into next season. Like, I'm chilling. Which I didn't even think about.
I've never even heard of him, but he had like 15 points last year, and he has had injury history. Yeah. It makes sense. I mean,
it's definitely a different angle. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, because the other angles have been kind of like about health more with the virus, or maybe even potentially doing the not doing protests, but trying to get the social justice stuff going forward. Like those have been those angles. No one has had the angle of I got a contract coming up.
Yeah, because it's smart. Everything.
It's smart. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny you said that about the COVID stuff. Remember, MLB shut down spring training in Florida because of how many cases have started now, new cases. So they literally had to stop that. So now I saw players where they were like, well, if you're stopping MLB spring training, you're talking about sending us down there to go play. Like, that's something that guys are not really comfortable with, because since everything has like started reopening again, Florida has been getting like crazy spikes. But obviously Florida was one of the first ones to open back up and kind of be like, oh, we're not really worried about anything. We're just going to roll with it. So that kind of has played into it. And even to the point where some of the NBA analysts and some of the different sports talk shows were talking about potentially should the NBA move it out of Florida. But just logistically, it's going to be a lot to try to deal with and overcoming things like that. So
I feel like being in the bubble will be all right.
I don't know, man.
Walt Disney bubble.
I don't know.
I don't
know, bro.
I think if you're talking about sports, I think MLB actually makes the most sense out of some of these sports, just because the only contact you're gonna have is the ball, right?
In theory, yeah. Unless tagging people out, obviously, if they're standing on base, that element of it.
Yeah, but I bet you'll be hitting them with the glove though at the same time. Like there's not going to be.
But the 6 feet apart thing, that's what I'm getting to.
Got you. So. Because I did see MLB, that, like you said, the commissioner, I guess I completely read it wrong. So I was searching some Pirates stuff, and I couldn't find anything. So I guess that makes sense, because the union didn't agree with it yet.
They haven't agreed yet. So it'd be interesting to see like what they say, man, if they do agree with it, if they decide not to agree with it, and the ramifications of that. So it's gonna be interesting, man.
But like even at the beginning of this, we were talking about you going to NASCAR in August. So man, I'm just hoping we can keep pushing forward with this stuff. You know what I mean?
It's gonna be unique, man. It's gonna be unique, and I want to see, like you said, like which players decide to do it, if they all decide to do it, and how that whole thing plays out. So, but you heard what Patrick Beverly said, man. LeBron said they playing, man. Them dudes playing, man. So
yeah,
right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah. We got anything else? We got it all covered?
No, man, we got it all covered. We do have a fun interview on this one, man.
Wow.
We had legendary basketball guy, man, Ralph Sampson, on the podcast, man. Awesome interview.
It was so dope.
Great stories, man. Talking a little bit about the Lakers, Magic, all that, man. So that was crazy. His Puma deal, obviously, and then also, man, why he wanted to stay at UVA for 4 years when he was the Naismith Player of the Year for 3 years, 3 to 4 years. He was there. And some of the money he turned down while staying there was crazy. So, yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun podcast, man. Definitely a fun interview, man. If you haven't checked out on the YouTube yet, man, definitely check out the audio of it on this podcast, man. So, other than that, man, it was a blast, bro.
This was a lot of fun, dude.
This was good, man.
We covered it all.
Yes, indeed.
So that's it, I guess. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. And until next time.
Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this next guest on the podcast is a legend. When we talk basketball, you have to talk this man right here. He was a 3-time college basketball player of the year. He then went on to be the #1 overall pick in the 1983 NBA draft to the Houston Rockets, where he then went on to be the NBA Rookie of the Year. He's a 4-time NBA All-Star and was inducted into the NBA Hall of Fame. The 7'4" phenom, Ralph Sampson. Ralph, man, appreciate you taking some time out to hop on the podcast with us today, man.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast and listening to all the people out there, and hopefully get some insight on this 7'4" supposedly phenom, the 1983 Rookie of the Year. That's a long time ago, man.
Hey.
I don't know. It's a long time ago.
Hey, look, man, I don't care how long ago it was, man. The accolades are there. When you have the type of career, both collegially and professionally, that you have earned that right, man. So yeah, it doesn't matter when you talking time frame. You're always a legend in my book, baby.
Well, you're from the Virginia area, so you kind of know that. So in Virginia, I tell people all the time. I tell all the players that I talk to. I said, you were iconic when you played, right? And you might have been number one pick. You were iconic worldwide, but now you're only iconic in your neighborhood. So I'm in Virginia, so it's good.
I like it. So, man, talking about being from Virginia, man, when did you first realize you had a passion for basketball and wanted to take it seriously?
Well, I mean, I didn't like basketball initially. I loved baseball when I was growing up, and I had an uncle that pitched a little bit, and the little chicken leagues that they call them back then, the hot sauce leagues or whatever they call them. I would go to those and I played baseball, but I pitched for a while, played first base. But as I was growing, at a young age, I was obviously taller than everybody else, and my pitching arm basically got a little bit lax, so I threw kind of sidearm. And when the ball wouldn't curve anymore, and especially on a right hand, left hand batter, the ball wouldn't curve and it would hit the batter, and they're like, "You can't pitch anymore, you're gonna hurt somebody." And so I moved to first base, and kept going 2 or 3 inches every year. And they would throw the ball there, and I would catch the ball with my ungloved hand.
Whoa! What?
And my mother said, you got to catch with the glove. You want to hurt your finger. You want to hurt your hand. Then they moved me to the outfield. And the outfield, you never got a ball. You never got anything. No action or nothing. Like, this is boring. And then, then I played basketball as well, but basketball was so boring to me because in elementary school, we played only 8-foot baskets, right? And you could only score, one person could only score 16 points. And if you didn't score any more, then you had to pass the ball out. So by in the first quarter, I had 16 points because I was throwing that ball. So that wasn't fun, right? So we killed everybody. But I had a great high school coach, and he saw the opportunity, and he kept grooming me and teaching me and doing some things with my parents. And it became a passion after a while. And then I just kind of gravitated, I ran track for a minute, but just kind of gravitated to basketball and found a passion for it.
I like it.
That's awesome. Could you talk about growing up on the farm and how that built your work ethic?
Yeah, definitely. It's so we still had this farm and family farm, about 100 years old within the family, somewhere like that. And then my mother's side, my grandparents. So when I was younger, my mother's side, we had 9 uncles and three aunts. And so at a young age, we would go and at least do some work on the farm. Everybody would go and come back and do stuff. You have your family reunions. You have your butchering of pigs. You have, hay bale, you fix stuff, whatever. But they would never let me drive the tractor at a young age because I was too tall. But they always said, basically, you can lift these square bales of hay up on the wagon because you're tall enough to pick them up. So those bales of hay were probably 40, 50, 60 pounds, right? And so I would lift them on the back of the wagon, and then we take them and put them in the barn. But my uncles would get after me because if I pick them up too aggressively and the string broke, they would get mad because they, boy, that's money right there. We got to feed these cows. So anyway, so the work ethic was there. We had gardens and potatoes and all kind of stuff. It was fun for us. It just was a fun experience being with our uncles and family. There, and just great time to grow up. It was easy. It was fun, but we didn't know how hard the work was. We just did it. So it was a good experience, very good experience.
I like it, man. Getting that manual labor in early.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, the farming is hard work. It'll break your back. But today though, you can get tractors that move on their own. You don't have to drive them anymore. They do their own thing. So. It's just kind of strange to see it, but it's good. I still love it.
I can dig that. Now, in the NCAA today, the one and done method has essentially taken over. But when you were at UVA, you stayed for 4 years despite being the player of the year 3 years in a row and numerous opportunities to be a number 1 overall draft pick in the previous year. So why did you decide to stay at UVA every year, and how difficult of a decision was that for you?
Well, people don't understand. So back in the day, it was only really like Daryl Dawkins and Moses Malone. Moses Malone went to Maryland for like 2 or 3 months, and then went to the NBA, went to the ABA, right? So coming out of high school, I was 7'1", 7 foot around that range, maybe 190 pounds, right? No, not 95 pounds. So I could have came out of high school and going to the NBA, but imagine going out and playing Artis Gilmore, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Robert Parrish, all those guys at that point in time, even some, Maurice Lucas, they were grown men.
Yeah.
And so high school, I would have been broke up probably, really early. So I said, let me go to college and figure it out. The next year in College University of Virginia, we won an NIT my first year. And I played against Kevin McHale, Randy Brewer, and 3 or 4 other NBA players on the court at that same time. And I could have come out after my freshman year to the Boston Celtics. Red Auerbach came to my parents' house, put $1 million in a briefcase on the table and said, you can go to the mighty Boston Celtics and, team up with Robert Parrish and that crew and, be successful, but you'll never get this money back. I'm like, so I asked my parents, are we okay? And, financially, my mom and dad said, we worked all our life, so we can wait, but it's totally your decision. So I was, freshman, still 200 pounds. So the same thing came out. I wasn't quite ready physically to go take that pounding. So between my freshman and sophomore year, I gained about 15 to 16 pounds of muscle, and I was ready. The next year we go to the Final Four. We lose to North Carolina in semifinals the year Ronald Reagan got shot. And so we did that, and I was quite ready then. So that year I would have came out and, the Lakers, there was a coin flip between, the Lakers and Indiana, whatever, but politics, like, I'm not ready. I want to go to Indiana. Whatever. So that year, it would have been a year that James Worthy would have gone to the Lakers. So imagine this. Kevin McHale wouldn't have gone to the Celtics. James Worthy wouldn't have gone to the Lakers back in that days, right? My third, and then my decision was, am I on course to graduate? Am I happy? Do I like my teammates? So everything was a positive. So I decided to come back. I can remember that one very, very vividly because, I took some friends of mine and we went to Florida just so I could get away from the school to make that decision. And then we came back all the way from Florida to Philadelphia to watch the 76ers and the Magic Johnson and the Lakers play in the finals. So that was exciting. And I said, well, I'm not quite ready for that yet. And then the next year we play and the college come back again. And it would have been my junior year, and I could have come out, and me and Isaiah Thomas and that crew, the class of 1979 in basketball was supposed to be the best class ever. But Isaiah Thomas, that came out, wouldn't have went to Detroit. So imagine that the Bad Boys, Michael Jordan, all that stuff happened. It wouldn't have happened. But I probably should have came out my second year or my third year because I was quite ready physically and mentally and prepared. But I still was on course to graduate, and I had that hunger to win a national title. That's what I wanted to do. So I came back my senior year, and I graduated and got my degree and my minors and all that kind of stuff as well. So I was on course to do that. My family could see me. And, I was still going to be a number one pick. So, it worked out, and best for me.
I like that, man. And it's crazy to hear just how passionate you were about graduating as well, because a lot of times when we talk about the athletes who are very successful, graduating their education kind of takes a back seat to their profession or the league they're trying to get into. So where did that passion for you come from in terms of wanting to finish and get that degree?
Well, so I announced, high school, was recruited by, a lot of schools, obviously. And when I announced I was going to University of Virginia, I was in my parents' car driving to go to the gym to work out, right after graduation, right after I announced, actually. And then I was turning the radio on, and Howard Cosell was on the radio saying, oh, Ralph Sampson announced he's going to University of Virginia, blah, 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 blah. That's a highly acclaimed academic institution. He'll never make it there coming from a small town.
Wow.
He'll never make it. He'll never graduate. So that stays with me even today. Because I always watched one of the best athletes ever, Muhammad Ali, and Howard Cosell, back then would banter back and forth. So that motivated me to make sure I got my degree, but also promised my parents I would do that as well, one way or another, if I came out of school. But that was part of my motivation early on, because I'm like, this dude here is going to say that I can't go to Virginia as a black guy. Because, back then, Virginia only ever had 2 African Americans on the team. There was a racial divide there, obviously. From that, I was 4 guys in with me, and we turned the tide around right there. But I was motivated from a Howard Cosell statement to make sure I got my degree as well.
I like that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Wow. Now, when you finally did make the jump to the NBA, talk about what was it about your game that transitioned so well to the NBA level that helped you win the NBA Rookie of the Year in that 1983 class? I mean, when you look at some of the names there, you got your Clyde Drexlers, your Byron Scotts, just to name a few. So what do you think it was about your game that made that so possible?
Well, I mean, I came in. So imagine going to the Houston Rockets, and I had some wily old veterans. So I come in with an Elvin Hayes, Hall of Famer. I come in with a Caldwell Jones. I come in with a Major Jones. I come in with guys that were seasoned. They taught me how the game was supposed to be played and how to take the game to the next level. I'm the rookie, so I'm going to play all the time, which is great. But these seasoned vets taught me about not only the game of the court, but the game of life in Houston and the NBA. So I got seasoned very quickly. And so Rookie of the Year, whatever was, any award, whatever, never set up to win an award. I set out just to be the best I can be on a day-by-day basis. And so, the highlight coming in, being from college and building the college name and reputation, et cetera, the way it used to be back then, and then on the cover of Sports Illustrated, all this kind of stuff was happening. So, expectations were high. But I tell everybody all the time, my expectations was much higher than anybody could expect from me. That still is today. So I just worked out every day. I was the first, for instance, I was the first guy in the NBA that bring weights into the locker room, into the gym. They didn't lift weights back then. I lifted weights. So we it's a funny story. We put weights, and I actually bought them through one of my endorsement deals in the next door locker room, so I could have a weight room. There was weights right there, because there were no such thing as lifting weights. Wow. You're like, it'll mess up your shot. You don't need to lift weights. And I mean, we just go play every day. So I brought weights in, and the more the story is, so I'm like, who can I work out with? Because none of the teammates are working out like that. So I found a guy named Robert Barr on a Captain Benny's. This was like a little restaurant on the side of the road. And he's a big burly guy. Looked like, hey man, where you lift weights at? He said, I go to the gym. Why don't you come, work out with me? So he came and worked out in the arena with me. I brought him in. We worked out and spotted. He ended up being the next year the weight coach of the team. Stayed there for a number of years. Ended up being the general manager of the team with Rudy Tom Donovich when they would start winning championships. So he stayed there for a while. So that's how things happen. You get a guy off the street, basically, that becomes the general manager of a team. Sooner or later. So it was funny, Rob, but we're good friends today. But those things happen. You had that passion, but nobody did it back then like they do it today.
That is wow. That's an awesome story. Can you talk about your Puma sneaker deal whenever you first came into the league? What's the story behind it? And I guess what other offers were on the table? Why'd you end up picking Puma?
Yeah, so I wore Pro Kids in high school. I can imagine back in the day, my parents couldn't find shoes to fit, especially basketball shoes. So Pro Kids was the only one that made bigger sizes at that point in time. And Pro Kids was owned by Stride Right. They made all the kids' shoes, which was great. So University of Virginia, they wore Adidas, and I wore Pro Kids. I came in and said, I can't wear any other shoes. This is what I want. We couldn't find the size 17. Jeez. So coming into the NBA, Puma had started recruiting me a little bit after my senior year, and saying we need to do this, that, and the other. Because I met them at a Wooden Awards event in California that I would go win these awards in the latter part of my season. So met them a little bit, hung out, but I had a very, very lucrative deal with Stride Right. That was, owning part of Stride Right, having stock in Stride Right, having my endorsement deals with Pro Kids, et cetera, et cetera. So that deal was done. And then here comes the season, we in training camp, and Stride Right and that company, Pro Kids, go out of business.
Wow.
Unbeknownst to me. Something happened. Okay, great. Luckily, I still had the relationship with the Puma guys they heard it and they picked the pace up right then and right there. Within 2 weeks, I had my first model of my Majestic shoe that just came back out this last year. But the crazy part, it was a cardboard box space. It had the bottom, it didn't have any innersoles in it, it didn't have anything. So I put my own innersoles in it. I wore like 5 pair of socks to cushion it until they got the shoe, the one I needed to wear. But Puma was a great ride then. It's a great ride now. We just launched shoe last year. Well, I tell people all the time, Puma. I mean, today is kind of fits Puma very well because the culture. Mm-hmm. So imagine 1976, Tommy Smith was on the podium in the Olympics, putting up the Black Power sign, and wore Pumas. Clyde Wall Frazier wore Pumas, one of the first iconic guys to get a shoe deal. Right, he was before Larry Bird, Magic Johnson with the Converse. So that didn't happen. Nike, all these other Under Armour, they weren't even around. They didn't even do anything. They weren't even around. So they captured that. Puma did it early on, and now coming back to that today from a culture and a fashion is kind of an amazing ride for me.
Yeah, man. It's funny you say that about the culture and the fashion. I actually have a pair of Pumas on right now. It was not planned at all. It was not planned at all.
Yeah.
Man, so talk about teaming up with Hakeem Olajuwon, and man, ultimately how that helped elevate your game.
Yeah, so it was ironic because on one of the covers of Sports Illustrated said he can run, he can jump, he can drill behind his back. He's 7'4", still growing. So the second year, my second year in the NBA, Rockets came and said, "Well, we want to, move you to forward because your skill set may be better for that and be able to run a little bit more, but we want to draft Hakeem Olajuwon." I'm saying, okay, great. That sounds good to me. So they had this whole thing, the Twin Towers, blah, 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 the whole deal. I mean, he's from Houston, played, obviously it would make sense. So I said, okay, cool, I can do that. The crazy part, my scoring level was just 23, 24 points, 10 rebounds my rookie year. It goes down to 20 and 8 or 9 because I'm not as close to the basket, obviously. But it worked out for both of us because I could run and jump and do my thing. And people like say, okay, well, we'll only hold you back because, I mean, if I'd have played in the system today, I'd have been much better today than I was back then because we had structured offense, structured defense. The ball had to go a certain spot to get a certain shot. Big guys couldn't shoot 3-pointers. You couldn't dribble up the court. But, I did that. And I can remember Bill Fitch, the coach, said, "You can't dribble. Give the ball to the guard." I'm like, I can't get the ball in the other one. I think I got to go get it. And then I'll go down and dunk, and I'll look over to him and say, "I told you I could do this." So, that type of situation happened. But having the team there, Twin Towers, is an amazing ride for, I think, both of us at an early stage in our career.
No, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned expectations earlier. Can you talk about how you were able to set your own expectations for yourself and not try to live up to other people's? Because I heard an interview you did before, just how big men coming into the league, there's always high expectations just based off other big men in the past. And I guess it probably has to do a lot with height as well. So can you talk about where that came from, where you were able to have, I guess, that internal motivation there?
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, if you're tall, you're supposed to play basketball, right? You're supposed to be good back in those days. And same thing today to some extent. If you're a big guy and you're kind of a dud or whatever, you should have played basketball, but you're soft. So anyway, I had those things at an earlier age, but everybody was always, when I was younger in high school and elementary school, how tall are you today? How tall are you today? Even students of mine, friends of mine that were in our same class. So everybody was excited about me being tall. Like, it's different. And basketball wasn't at the height it is, obviously, back, early then, but even today. So everybody was not expecting you to play basketball, but it was expecting you to be a good person. So anyway, that started early age from my parents' upbringing. You had to get up in the morning, make your bed, clean your room, stuff like that. So my expectations grew from my mother and father and family because we wanted to be good. Remember my mother made me play piano at a young age. I'm like, piano? I don't want to play piano. But I had to take it because she paid for it. And I wanted to quit, and she said you couldn't quit. And then the lady that was instructing the piano lesson said, Miss Sampson, he could play the piano, but his hands are too big for the piano and the notes. So when I pushed the notes, I would hit 2 notes instead of 1. And so she saw that and said, well, you got to finish the session because I paid for them, and then you don't have to do it anymore. So my mother and father ingrained that in our spirit to say you can't quit, and you got to be the best you can be that day. So I still have that mentality today. I mean, I get up, I make the bed, I clean the house pretty much on a day-by-day basis, and I go in the little office I have, and everything's got to be in somewhere. Now, we take it apart and tear it up, yes, but that was ingrained in me at an early age, and even today after basketball. So I wanted to be good. I wanted to be the best I could be. I worked out hard. My workouts was harder than the game. I made myself work out that hard because the game should become easy compared to the workout. So it was ingrained from early age like that.
Now, during that 86 season, man, the year where y'all were able to finally dethrone the reigning LA Lakers, I mean, obviously with Magic, Kareem, James Worthy, what was it about that team, man, that helped y'all be able to get over the hump right there?
Well, I mean, I felt in the season before, I mean, it was my fourth year in the NBA. And I felt like, we were on the brink of something great with Elijah. We had a great cast of teammates, Rodney McCray, Jim Peterson. We had a bunch of guys that I think could play and did very well. So it came out in the newspaper that, Ralph says we're ready to win. And the organization said, well, we can't say that. We can't say that because it gives too much time. If we don't do it, then, it won't be successful. But so we started off that season, and we were playing pretty well. Got to the playoffs, and just had some grueling series. I mean, played our first couple of series, won. We get to the session, the team, the Denver Nuggets with T.J. Manaway, Albert English, that crew, and we play a 7-game grueling series with them, right, in Denver, the last game in Denver. I mean, that can't breathe, fighting. We got kicked out the game, and our bench actually helped us win that game. So imagine going from that game, 7 games, 2 days later, playing the Lakers, champions, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, and the crew. We play them. They kill us the first game. I mean, just wore us out. But we were tired. We were beaten down. We had a couple of days of rest after that first game with the Lakers, and we just regrouped as a team and said, look, let's get this. Let's kick it in gear, and let's go. We won the next 4 games straight. We won the next game in L.A., we came to Houston and won the next 2 games, and then we won the game in L.A. that I hit the buzzer beater with that one, which we had a fight in that game. Akeem Olajuwon got kicked out. We fought, and, they were just nasty guys that wanted to get under our skin because we know we were the young guns. We were the young stallions that could get up and down the court. They were a little bit older with an older crew, but we were ready to roar back then and play very hard. So that's elevated us to that level of success and getting to the finals against the Boston Celtics.
Now, speaking of that Celtics final, that was like the theme throughout that whole playoffs, man. Y'all would get into it. I think between you and Olajuwon, y'all both had some times where y'all got ejected, man. Just talk about that 86 NBA Finals versus Larry Bird and the Celtics, man, and ultimately what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, again, even from the Lakers series, I mean, I actually watched that Finals game like a month ago with on Remember This type situation with ESPN. And I go up for a dunk, and a good friend now, he's passed away, rest in peace, Maurice Lucas. And Maurice Lucas was a bruiser in the league, right? He would make sure that he knew that I'm here. Now, he wasn't fast. He couldn't jump that high, but he was physical, and he could know the game. So every jump ball before the game, he would come out, and he'd say, hey, big fella, what's up? And he would take his elbow and just hit me in the chest. He said, I'm just want you to know I'm going to be here. The game hadn't even started. I'm like, okay, great. So I go up for a dunk, and he just takes me down, and I get up and come up swinging and fighting. Okay, great. So they calm us down. We try to get that done. So it was a very physical game. Akeem and Kirk Rambis got into it, went over the bench, and had to, I just hear myself saying, let's just get off of him. Don't try to hurt him. They try to take him down. Yeah. So very physical game, but I love to play that way. I mean, today's game is very soft. And NBA understand that because they don't have big burly guys like we had. Yeah. But we were physical, and we would fight, and they would find us some money, but they wouldn't kick it out the game and stuff like that. So it was fun to play that style of basketball because, I mean, you got grown men playing very hard, and it's physical in the trenches. and the offense that you have to play is a little post driven, and people get just beat up. You get bruised and beat up, and have to play the next day. So it was fun. To us it was fun to watch and play that.
Now, fast forwarding through your career, you made a decision to go over and play in Spain in 1992. Can you take us through that decision as to, I guess, why you wanted to go play over there and just what that experience was like?
Yeah, so they actually came after me. I was in the latter part of my career. I had some knee injuries and stuff that was going on as well. So there was, I still had that passion to play, and I want to get back on the court. So they came and saw me play and said, well, you come over here and train over here and work over there. We'll pay you handsomely and go from there. So I looked at it. I looked at where it was. It's Malaga, Spain, on the south of Spain, right on the beach. And I'm like, okay, this might be fun. And so I went and used it as a training camp. I worked out. You play once a week. It's like football. You play once a week, but you train every day, et cetera. But I didn't understand the culture, so I took an interpreter with me. I didn't understand the culture. It took me a while to adjust to that as far as just the basketball side, because they thought, we were gods playing over there, and that we should be able to dominate everybody. And so, it's totally different from a style of play, because you can play. It reminds me of going back to college. You can play a boxing one, boxing two, but over there it's like I had three guys against me against everybody else, and they wanted me to score. And I would get the ball and pass and do it. No, you can't pass. You got to shoot. You got to score. I'm like, okay, great. And then I was still nursing my knees as well. So for me, after I got used to it, and the worst part was they had these junior players. They were junior high and high school players that they would bring in and shift in every other play to kind of beat me up a little bit. I'm like, what is this? These are young kids. I'll hurt this kid. Okay, great. But after we understood what was going on, and it was a good experience. I met some great friends, had a great time in the culture in Spain, and I loved it. The food was great and amazing. The culture was great. It was a good experience for me to go do at that part of the time of my career.
Now, looking back just on your career, you recently, not recently, I guess back in 2012, got inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. What was your reaction to getting inducted? And I guess just how do you look at your career?
Yeah, so just to focus on my career, just trying to get some stuff done. It's just great to look back on those experiences and understand how I did things. And I had fun. I made every decision for that period of time and what I was doing, and everything just worked out.
I like it. Now, you coached at my alma mater, James Madison University, JMU, go Dukes.
I did.
With Lefty Giselle. And you also coached with Alvin Gentry with the Phoenix Suns. So what was it like for you being a coach, and would you ever consider getting back into it?
Yeah, so, again, trying to go back to playing a little bit. Let me coach. And Lefty Giselle had recruited me to come to the University of Maryland. And so we had a relationship. He was in my hometown, born and raised there. Like, oh, why don't you come coach? It'd be great. So he convinced me to do that. It was a good experience. I learned a lot, about the left-hander as far as recruiting and experiences of life and stuff like that. So it was great to have that experience and understand it and have the bug of coaching in my system. But I still wanted to play. So I worked out every day. I worked out with the team a little bit. I was, like a part-time assistant. I only make like $15,000 for the year, but I could be in the gym with kids and I could work out. So it was perfect for me. Got my knees back to where I needed them to be, just enough where I could play a little bit. So then the next year I just went out and worked out more and worked out with the Phoenix Suns for a while. They didn't pick me but I was there, with Barkley and that crew playing when they was in the 1993, 94, whatever that was, series and all that kind of stuff. Well, so I just needed to get that out of my spirit, from a playing standpoint. So it was good for me to coach with Lefty Giselle. And then 2011-12, being able to go to Phoenix with Lance Blanks as the general manager and Alvin Gentry was the experience I thought it would be of a lifetime. It would get me in coaching with the NBA. It would get me in that arena. But, with the wrong team, wrong ownership, wrong situation, there's something because I learned a lot about the politics of the NBA, which I knew some of it, but you see it really behind the scenes at that point in time. We had it laid out and we had it going, but we all couldn't work together for whatever reason. And then it ended up, not being a good situation for everybody. Within a year, like coach gets fired, general manager gets fired. I was there with a guy named Mark West. So, Ralph, you can stay and hang out, whatever it be, but maybe you call season ticket holders and stuff. I said, not doing all that. So Mark West said, Mark, you can have it. You was here. You've been here 17, 18 years. You played here. You do that. I'll be the one to go. And so I ended that relationship with them as well. But I love the coaching piece. I've been working with kids for 25 plus years on the court and off the court. So I have a passion for all that. And it's good to get back and coaching. If I ever get a chance to do it again, I would. But, you never know. But it's a good experience.
Okay, I can respect that. Now, the last question before we let you go. Talk about your welcome to the NBA moment.
Ask that again, I'm sorry.
Oh, all right. I say, yeah, so last question before we let you go and everything. Just talk about your welcome to the NBA moment.
My welcome to the NBA. Yeah, that's an experience. So I get drafted, number one, and Roddy McCray get drafted number 3. In New York City, Forum and all that kind of stuff. Well, we get on separate Lear jets. His family, my family, separate Lear jets, leaving New York City after we get drafted. Now, I got a call from Ronald Reagan, president. Okay, great, congratulations, et cetera. We get on the planes. I can see his plane out the window. He can see mine. We land in Houston together, get on the bus, both families, hang out, have fun. We go to the arena. There's 20,000 people in the arena greeting us at the arena saying, draft pick, whatever. Best experience in the world. Then we there, we stand in a hotel, we hanging out, we meeting guys. We go out to a dinner in the club the night after we get there. We see a guy named Alan Level. And we thought, well, he plays with us. And so the excitement and the stuff that we were doing made sense. And once we got there in the club, we see Al Level and drinking and smoking cigarettes. I'm like, and we and Rodney like, that's our point guard. And we think, oh shit, we in trouble, So we because our mentality wasn't that way. So that was our experience, and from the height of the draft and anything like that was crazy, but also from getting there and seeing your teammates. But that's the way the NBA was. I mean, you had. They had people that do that, which was fun. But great guy, Alan Level, and he was a great teammate and a wonderful person. But from that height to that experience to that, it was like, oh, really eye-opening experience that made you think about, okay, this is really what we got ourselves into. But it was fun. It was fun. We enjoyed it.
Oh, I like it, man. Well, Ralph, man, we definitely appreciate you hopping on the podcast with us, man. It's been an awesome experience talking with you. Wish you nothing but success in all your future endeavors, man.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no problem. Thanks anytime. I look forward to it. And much success with your podcast. We're launching one as well. It's great, but I look forward to networking and trying to figure this out and helping you in any way we can.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you again.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, thanks.